Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our show, Master of Governance. Over the next 20 minutes, we will have a session of questions and answers with Gunther here, who tells us that he has been working extensively in this challenging area of governance, and some may say he's quite the expert. Well, is he? Let's find out. Gunther, welcome to Master of Governance. Are you comfortable?
Yes, I am.
Too hot? Too cold?
No, that's just perfect.
You will be posed 10 questions in rapid succession. Each question would come with its set of 4 optional answers. You must answer your questions correctly to move to the next one. It may be important to note that the copy of this session will be shared with your bosses at the World Bank and with President Zelik. Still relaxed and comfortable?
Well, so I think about it afterwards.
We are going to test Gunther's ability to choose the best option out of the 4 choices. This gets tricky primarily because out of the 4 options, more than one option could be partly correct. This is where Gunther has to use his judgment and come up with the most appropriate answer. Gunther has 3 lifelines. In the event of Gunther being unable to proffer an answer, the question gets passed on to you, there sitting in the audience. You may choose to help him look good, or if he has been bothering you too much, well, we'll leave it to you. So without much ado, here is the first question. Easy one to start with. How does the World Bank define governance? A. The rules of the political system to solve conflicts between actors and adopt decision. B. The manner in which public officials and public institutions acquire and exercise the authority to provide public goods and services. C. The act of governing and of exercising authority. And D. The traditions and institutions by which authority in a country is exercised.
It's certainly B, because so the World Bank puts a lot of emphasis on the delivery of services, so it must be B.
That is the right answer. And moving on to the next question. What is corruption? How does the World Bank define corruption? A. Lack of integrity or honesty, especially susceptibility to bribery. B. Use of a position of trust for dishonest gain. C. Abuse of public office for private gain. D. Inducement to wrong by improper or unlawful means.
I think I pick C, because there are the two elements of the corruption definition are so that there is a public office, that's the first one, and the second one is so that there is some private gain involved, so it should be C.
Correct answer. Just from my understanding, how are governance and corruption different?
That's a very good question. People asked this question as well. In our definition, governance is a much broader concept. It's about how the state operates. It's about how the state, the government institution interacts with the people, with the citizenry. Whereas corruption is the breakdown in the governance system. The fact that some of the systems and procedures which the state uses are not working effectively, which then leads to corrupt practices at the service delivery level. So in essence, corruption is a subset of governance. So governance is the broader concept, and corruption is basically the negative consequence of a non-well-functioning governance system.
Thank you, Gunther. Are you ready for the next question? Let's see how you fare with the next one. A public official in the health department sets up a scheme according to which 1% of funds allocated from his department to the local governments will be transferred to his private bank account. Is this A. Corruption, B. Fraud, or C. Mismanagement, or D. Only a violation of ethical behavior? Take your time to think it over.
I'm somewhat torn between two potential answers, but maybe we can invite somebody from the public to help me on this. So is that possible?
Let me pass this question on to our audience here.
So everybody made my life easy, so I go with the public choice. Thanks.
Correct answer. Moving on to the next question. A government minister is asking the head of the Public Works Department to favorably consider the bid of a company in his constituency. At this stage, is this a case of A. Fraud, B. Corruption, C. Conflict of interest, or D. None of the above?
That's again a very tricky question. In my view, so this is neither fraud and corruption at this stage. So this is how the question is phrased, because so there's no real money involved. So at this level, so it can only be at this stage. So the conflict of interest situation. So which means that so the minister is overstepping the boundaries of his public office. So and using this so for other purposes. So in this case, so trying so to get a contract awarded so to somebody he knows. So I would go for this option, conflict of interest.
Correct answer. Are you ready for the next question? The local ombudsman recommends to the chief minister to initiate a corruption investigation against one of the cabinet ministers. The chief minister refuses because of fear of political repercussions. Is this A. Corruption, B. Lack of professionalism, C. Violation of ethical standards, or D. Within the chief minister's prerogative?
Okay, again, so you're asking very tricky questions. So is this again a possibility to get, so the audience involved? I really would like to like some help on this. So it would be great.
This question gets passed on to the audience as well. Let's see if anyone here has the correct answer. Correct answer. And moving on to the next question. You are preparing a project which includes requirements on public disclosure and grievance redressal. At what stage should these mechanisms be operational at the client level? A. During the first year of project implementation. B. At midterm review. C. By the time the project is approved by the World Bank Board. Or D. By the time the project is officially launched.
Oh, okay. So I think you would get different answers if you talk to the task teams in the World Bank, because their preferred option is option A, but it's, in our view, really wrong. So because I think, so the perspective is that, so by the time the project is officially launched, which is, I think, your option D, so all these things should be in place, so to make sure that, so whatever complaints and grievances, so are made against the project could be made immediately, and not only so within the first year after the project, so starts to be implemented. So it's that option.
Correct answer. Let's see how you fare with the next one. You receive a phone call from your country director informing you that INT intends to investigate your project. What do you do? A. Immediately inform the government counterpart. B. Inform the media. C. Talk to your sector manager. Or take the easy option out and go on vacation.
Would love to go for the easy option, but it's probably not that easy. So is there still a possibility, so to ask the audience for advice? So I think I desperately need this on this question.
This question gets passed on to the audience as well. Let's see if anyone here has the correct answer.
I fully agree, so with so the audience, and I think so it's very important, so to have so a discussion, so with management, so in this case with the sector manager, so about the right approach, so with this INT investigation, and that's what we typically also recommend, so to task teams, so to do.
Right answer.
I'm certainly not the master of governance, so with your help, so I somewhat managed to answer all these questions. And what we did actually together is to apply common sense, and that's what governance is all about. So applying common sense to somewhat difficult situation. And I really hope so that so in the course of the next 3 days we can work so on specifying this common sense situations together. Thanks.
And with that, we come to a close of our show, where we've had some fun, hopefully learned a few new things, and taken the cobwebs off some complicated issues. We hope that you all enjoyed the show, and we promise to be back with a spanking new edition soon. Meanwhile, in case you have any questions or queries about governance, do remember to log on to our website. Thank you for being here today. Have a great day ahead.